Hey guys, this is Mikey with Anime 211. We are having a special review show. Um, Here at Anime 211, we watched the Netflix original film Death Note based on the anime manga. Um, my opinion, we'll share my opinion, but I kind of want to get the opinion of these two people right here. We have Mel and Corey. They work with me at Anime 211. You'll probably remember Mel from the Wifey unboxing videos. Please stop. Uh, you and Corey, you normally is my cameraman for the unboxings that we do, like the Shonen Jump, DC Universe, One Punch Man, Steven Universe, all to just name a few. So we together watched Death Note, the Netflix original. My opinion is based solely off that I've read the books. Mel's opinion that she watched the movie, right? I had you watch the 2006 movie.
Yes, if it was 2006, the old live action movie.
The one live
I
action
guess
movie.
the original.
I wouldn't say original,
movie
but
or whatever. Yeah.
yeah. And
I watched
Corey,
that years ago.
you're completely new to Death Note, period, right?
Haven't watched it back.
Okay. With the exception of the Netflix original movie. Okay. So, let's start first with ladies first. Melissa, what's your opinion on Death Note?
For someone who doesn't know much about Death Note, and like I said, the 2006 one or whatever was the first one that I watched, and it's been years since I watched that. It was entertaining. I liked it. It actually made me want to read the manga now, so I know the backstory and how it kind of goes and what's actually really going on.
Mm-hmm.
Just so I know, because it caught my attention. I would also be interested in watching the anime as well, just so I can kind of put it all together, and then I guess can be like, oh, like some people are saying, this Netflix one was crap, or like some people are saying, oh, this Netflix one is really, really great, because now I'm kind of just like in
You're
the
not
middle.
sure. Yeah. I think you like reading novels a lot, though, right?
I love to read. I read all the time.
Yeah, I think you would best serve versus watching the anime to reading the book, because you know me. You married me and
I know.
whatever.
Can't get rid of them.
Forever.
Stop.
But
Help!
But I don't like reading novels. Like I personally
You
don't like
to read.
No, I do like to read because I have a whole thing of mangas in there.
Yeah, but that's
So there you go.
it.
Death Note is as a manga is like a novel. It's it's a lot of freaking reading. However, the story is so good that you don't mind the reading. So I think you would personally serve well reading the book versus watching the anime. You might do well both, but I think one or the other you might enjoy the book versus that. Just because I know you. Anything else? Like how about the character? Like, how did you feel about the character developments and like what was your opinion on Light?
I'm so terrible when it comes to trying to remember what people's names were. I can describe what the person was, and
Okay.
so like I know that it's based off the story of Light, and in the Netflix original film, it's Light Turner. He's kind of like the person with the Death Note. Again, coming from someone who doesn't know what he's supposed to be like, I thought he did okay.
Okay.
I wouldn't say he was fantastic, just actor-wise, but I don't...
Actor-wise? Well...
But as far as keeping me interested and entertained as to what's going on, the whole story did good.
Okay.
The girl, Mia,
I believe her name was.
Whatever her name was. Don't get me wrong, she kind of reminded me of Twilight Girl.
No emotion.
I love my Twilight. I'm a Twilight person, but that's all I could think about. She did good in some parts, but it just kind of reminded me of that. The big
Ryuk.
Okay. I think Willem Dafoe did great. Just because, one, I kind of like him, period. And the parts that we got to see him, I think he did good for what he was in.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Again, coming from someone who doesn't know
Yuzaki.
what he's supposed to be like, I found him entertaining just because I got a kick out of watching him stuff his face with candy, and it made me want to eat candy. Not that I really need candy, but it made me want to eat the candy and be entertained like he was. So, I mean, overall, like I said, it was okay.
Okay.
I do remember some of the stuff from the previous movie as the way how it ended and how some things happened, because I did have to question and ask, like, wait a minute, I thought it was somebody else instead of this. Then I found out that no, there was actually two people, not the one person.
Well, the movie, yeah, you questioned that, but the movie never,
But
the movie never picked up on that
the
either.
Netflix one never picked up on it.
And neither did the...
But from the previous one...
Never picked up on it.
Never picked up on it, but I knew that there was two different people, but I actually thought it was... Well, okay, let me take that back. There was one person, but it actually ended up being two people.
Let's
That's
stop this spoiler alert.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that it was, instead of being one person, it actually ended up being two people.
Okay.
So that was the whole thing, and I kind of got confused because I was expecting something to happen when it didn't happen, but that's because it's from a different movie, not this movie. So,
it's from a different portion of the story. Like we need to look at it not from the movie standpoint, but the story standpoint. It's a different standpoint from the story.
I guess that's a thing too. Like I didn't realize that there was different.
Yeah, the story is more.
I thought it was just.
It's not necessarily stories.
Overall,
it is an overall. It is an overall. But the thing is, the overall is that there's Light, there's L, and there's Kira and L, actually, and they're trying to get at each other to stop each other.
Which that part I get, but it's the other characters that
when the
I
story
didn't
keeps
realize
progressing.
were different people, so I was kind of confused.
Yeah, the beginning is Kira and L, and then the story progresses from there. But everyone who does their thing, with the exception of the anime, they stop with Kira and L. They never progress the story any further, and that's the same thing with the movies too. Let's give Corey his time. Mm-hmm. We spend enough on the star of the.
I'm the star.
So, Corey, you are coming in from not knowing anything about Death Note. Your only taste with Death Note is the Netflix movie. So your opinion on the movie is what?
Well, that and then what you told me about Death Note. Especially helping you out with all the videos and everything. But other than that, I mean, it was entertaining.
Okay.
Like you said, it kept my interest. The main character, it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly didn't really care for him.
Yeah.
To be completely honest with you, and even when he went from being Light to being Kira, there seemed to be no character progression whatsoever. He was the same guy throughout the whole show, and whether he was Light or Kira, nothing was different.
And interesting, we were watching a video today, and the lady who was on there, it was one of those Now Entertainments, they were talking about how they wanted to keep Light as a good guy versus doing what he originally is a distorted figure of justice, wanting to be a god of this new world that he's trying to create. So, yeah, I mean, I can understand where you're coming from.
And they failed on both parts, if you think about it.
They kind of
Because with Light, I mean, we didn't really know Light all that much anyways. It just started like that.
Mm-hmm.
To where he's got the Death Note, and then he just went crazy with it. But at the same time, he does mention where he wants to do good in the world. And it shows in a montage where he does kill, quite a few evildoers or, criminals, if you will.
Yeah.
But his emotion, his personality just never changes. He doesn't seem to go into a crazy mode where he wants to literally get rid of all these people, and he thinks he's doing it for the greater good. But at the same time, he also doesn't seem to be a normal kid, normal nerdy high schooler or whatever he is.
Yeah.
It's like that. He's trying to do, I won't say too much of either, because he's not doing enough of either.
Yeah.
He's trying to find a happy medium, and it's not working.
Okay.
And then you've got his friend Mia, who is like this sex-crazed chick who's also crazy, not so
Fat
much,
crap crazy.
Not so much crazy about him, but crazy about the idea of what he's doing and wants to help him with it. But she seems to be more like what Kira was supposed to be, in my opinion. Like, where she's the one that almost is pulling the strings and the one that's doing all this, and not Light, which is strange to me.
Yeah, that is the interesting part about the whole thing. Didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, it's cool.
Or you, Mel, when you were talking. But yeah, that's the interesting part. This one is that it's like Kira is split into two people versus being Light.
Exactly.
It's kind of like they had the direction for Light and want the main character to be Light. However, they couldn't get away from what Kira actually was. So that seemed like that's why they had to bring Mia on. To me personally, that's why it failed. Because it's like we have to have one Light, which is Kira. That's what it is. And then we have L, and it was just having them split into two is really not that great. It really didn't work very well. At least I didn't think so. Let me open this up for both of you to just chime in whenever you guys can.
I guess,
yes.
I mean, going back to that, to where Light and her, I can see that, like, now when we start talking about it more, and I'm replaying the movie and stuff, I think that was something that kind of confused me a little as well, because I was like, oh, wait a minute, I thought he was the one who was supposed to have it. However, it did seem like there were a lot of times that she was the puppet master of it all. Like, she said, oh, what about this one, and what about this one, and what about, like, she was feeding him the people instead of him finding the people himself.
And they even, like, L, even in the thing, and even his own dad, called him a coward. And he actually does seem like he is a coward, because he's not the one that's really wanting to do any of this.
Originally,
it's really her.
Yeah, originally in the mangas and in the series, L does call Kira a coward, but for a completely different reason. Like, the encounter between L and Kira goes a completely different way than Netflix did it. They go in a way where it's truly a psychological thriller. Like, let me ask you guys that. Did you guys get that this was a psychological thriller? Like, this was a real smart, real impactful, like, my God, this is a mystery, how we're going to solve it. Is that how,
no,
did you get that feeling?
Not at all, because to me, L seemed to already know everything right at the bat.
Yeah.
Like,
there was no lead
there
up,
was
right?
no detective work to it. It's like, oh, I already know who it is, and I'm going to go after him. And that's basically what happened. That's when they had that chance meeting in the diner. It's like, okay, so there's no need for all these cops or anything. And there is no psychological thriller or detective anything to this, because it's like you already know. It's almost as if he already knows, and he's just trying to convince everybody else that this is who it is, especially his own father or whatever. Which apparently nobody wants to believe it, and mainly because, and I will say, one of the cool things about it was how everybody kind of liked that Kira existed, because he's almost like a savior in a way.
That is the truest point to the whole movie. What was your thought, Mel? I think you had a thought.
That's what I was going to kind of say as well. Me coming from someone who loves those types of movies, that's even what I normally read most of the time, are the mystery, thriller, suspense, stuff like that. I got the same thing, to where it felt like you kind of already, I mean, one, you already knew watching it, you know who's doing it all, but L coming in, he already knew, like, excuse me, there was no lead up as to how he figured this out. It was like he comes, he shows up, and you can tell right off the bat that once he comes and shows up that he's already pinpointing this is the direction that I'm going, and then all of a sudden, bam, yeah, this is who it is. It's like, well, wait, how did you figure that out?
So,
you know?
So would you guys say that this is more of a teen movie versus being a thriller?
I wouldn't necessarily call it a teen movie only because there's a lot of gore.
There's a lot of gore.
There is a lot of gore.
That's one of the, obviously, you know me.
I know you.
Horror movies and good amounts of gore. I wouldn't say over amounts, which this one didn't have a whole.
This one
unusual amount of gore.
No, but this had more gore in it than it needed because it's Death Note. Unfortunately, Death Note isn't all about the gore. Like, most of the deaths in Death Note are all, with the exception of a few, most of them are all heart attacks. No blood, no guts.
I think that that's something that they were trying to do, though, because nowadays, most viewers and people that are trying to watch something, I mean, especially with the title Death Note, you want to see that gore factor. You want to see somebody get mutilated and but I mean, like, you just want kind of like, that's just something that you want, you know? I think had it been a little more of the softer side, like you were saying, where it was all heart attacks, I don't know if some of us would have liked it as much.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with some of the people that he goes after, you want to see them die brutally. You know, you want to see something. You get that point where you're just like, okay, this person, yeah, they need to go out, and they need to go out hardcore, not just, and be done and over with it, you know?
No, totally get it. Now, there's a reason, though, that, just to explain it, there's a reason why there's the heart attacks, and why it's only the heart attacks. That wasn't necessarily in the Netflix movie. Because y'all saw that pretty much how people found out that Kira was because he had people write his name on the walls, or before they died, and he did things to them. The way that Light does it in the manga and in the books, it's subtle. It makes it more of a detective story because it's 50 something or 100 something or 1,000, no, more. I think it was around 800. 800 unexplained heart attacks. All of them criminals. So that was leaking out no matter what. So the people were saying there's someone out there. The cops were saying it's probably coincidence. But it brought everyone together saying, well, the cops mainly. It brought all the cops together saying it's either coincidence, someone's doing this, or it's either coincidence or someone's doing this. That's what they brought. So, I mean, there was the reasons for the heart attacks. I think, and I understand where y'all guys are coming from. Definitely understand it. But I think if the story of the heart attacks was done nicely, done the way that the story in the book does it, that would have been a better way. Because it's done in the movie, actually. It's done in the 2006 movie.
It could be, but with it being on Netflix, they don't want to just, I guess you could say, pander to the people that do read the manga or whatever. They want to grasp a larger audience, like someone like myself who's never read it or seen any of the movies or anything. Yeah. So to pull that in, you gotta do a little bit more.
Understand.
I think that's why, like, they probably could have had a little bit more heart attacks than they did the gore. But I think if they would have had the gore in there too, like a good healthy mix of each, then that would have kept people intrigued. They don't necessarily.
The thing about it is the way that they were doing it, they couldn't have done it that way. Because the heart attacks would have made too much sense.
It felt like they were trying to rush it. Like they were trying to cram a lot in there in, what was it, an hour and a half?
Hour and 40, I think.
A little over. Yeah, it just felt like they were trying to cram so much of the story into this little time slot. So they could get it and get it out there. Not no fault of Netflix or anybody who came up with the thing, but that just seems to be the rush when it comes to any type of book, period. That they try to cram so much stuff together into one movie and get it out there to you. And those that have read it or those that followed the anime or whatever else, when they actually see it, they're just like, dude, what are y'all doing? You know, like, what the heck?
Well, I want to take at least 5, maybe 4 minutes. I want to do something. I want to get your opinions on each. Actually, no. I want to get your opinions on comparing. So, Corey, you're going to kind of be out of this one, but chime in if you want to. Melissa, this one's going to be mainly about you. To what you know of, to what you remember of the story from the movie, I know it's probably been a long time, which one would you have preferred?
You know, story-wise, truthfully, what I remember, the first one I saw, it kept my attention all the way through it to where I was like, okay, and I thought that was the end of it. Like, I thought it was done, over with, that there was nothing else to it.
Yeah, there's a sequel to that movie that you saw. It's the Death Note, The Last Name.
Well, see, here I am thinking that it was done.
Don't worry, it's not.
I think it's because another reason why I like that one more is because you kind of get to know the characters. You kind of see where they're coming, not necessarily coming from, but I guess lights. You kind of see the different stuff that's going on. And then, again, last night I found out that somebody who I thought was one person was actually 2 completely different people. And that was something that I kept trying to compare to this one. I was like, well, wait a minute, I thought they did this. And then that's when, again, I found out that no, there was actually 2, not one of them. However, kind of going over what I just said about kind of liking the first one more, the second one did make me want to go and read the manga.
Okay.
So I guess that would have the heads up because it caught someone's attention who's not into manga or anime 100%, and I'm only kind of into it because you, my husband, who's into it, I kind of give you credit to watch some of the stuff. A lot of the stuff I'm kind of like, whatever, I don't want to watch it. But this is something that I can see as to why you like it, because it is like a detective-y kind of grasping your attention in that way, and it kind of actually has a bigger, broader story than just fighting robots or people with big giant swords.
Girl, you know I hate giant robots.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, a lot of the other anime and stuff, people are probably gonna hate me for this.
Inuyasha fans are gonna hate you for the last comment.
But there's going to be a lot of the giant robots or the people with the giant swords fighting. It's like, come on, what? Today, as a matter of fact, I gotta go to this. Today, I had to ask because somebody from work had said, yeah, I watched this one. We were actually talking about, me and another coworker of mine were talking about Death Note because she actually watched it as well. And another coworker of ours chimed in and was like, he's like, I wish I was as passionate about this stuff as y'all are. And I had to explain, well, I'm only passionate because my husband is. Other than that, I could care less about it, which is the truth. And he's like, oh, well, I watched one of them. It's one with the guy with the spiky orange hair and a big sword. I have no clue who the heck he was talking about, and I had to actually Google it and found like 12 different guys who had spiky hair and big swords. And I'm like, dude, seriously? How many animes got people with spiky hair and big swords? And then, of course, my husband come to the rescue and said Bleach. That's exactly who it ended up being. But there were several of them that popped up. And Dum Me at first was like, oh, spiky hair, Trigun. I was like, wait a minute, he didn't have a sword, he had guns. So, see? I don't know nothing. I'm sorry, that was my rant. Don't hate me.
What really grinds my gears?
Don't hate me, don't hate my husband. Love the anime 211.
Stop. Okay.
Spiky hair. Right there.
In that note.
What is that?
What are you talking about?
They can't see it, but that thing up there.
Okay, that's
hair.
Tenjo Tenge.
See, I don't know nothing. Spiky hair, swords, another thing.
Just let it go, babe. Let it go. Let it go. Okay, so it's my turn. I'm gonna give this a short and sweet kind of review. Yes, I'm the guy coming from everything, so I'm gonna tell it the way someone told me about Dragon Ball. Because we all know that special movie that's close, near, dear to none of our hearts. Dragon Ball Evolution.
That movie never happened.
It did.
No.
So I go with what someone told me. If you're going in looking for a Dragon Ball movie and you're going to want to watch Dragon Ball Evolution, you're going to be disappointed. Same way with Death Note. I went in wanting to watch a Death Note movie. Personally, I got a teeny bopper feel. Light was a complete pushover. And now knowing that's exactly what the studio wanted to do, that kind of hurts and no faith in the story at all. But if you're going in wanting to watch a Death Note movie, this isn't a movie for you. If you want to go in and watching a movie, this is a pretty decent movie to watch. That's basically what I can say. Comparing it to every other Death Note adaptation, Mikey is still saying that the book is better. I mean, nothing has beat the book yet, with the exception, and I haven't done it yet, but the musical. So that's still there's a musical. There is a Death Note musical. I heard one song and it is glorious. It is the most hilarious thing I've ever heard, but it's still good.
Speaking of musical and music, what was up with the music at the end of this one?
There's a lot of 80s influences.
So, I mean, I don't know if it's because that's kind of what's going on right now with all the retro music.
It's just a lot of 80s music.
Yeah, I mean, because you gotta think, what is it? Guardians of the Galaxy.
This is the longest one I've ever done.
Deadpool.
With the exception of the
what are some other ones? Guardians of the Galaxy, Deadpool.
Yeah.
What was the other
What are we
one?
looking for? Like
old retro. Oh, what did we just watch? Logan's Lucky.
Yeah.
That had retro music and Death Note. When there was just one scene, which I'm not gonna say the same, but there's just one scene and the music plays, I was just like, dude, seriously?
Is it that prom scene?
No.
Or that winter dance scene?
Towards the
end. You know what I'm talking about? The climax, the end of the movie where. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the music plays, I was like, dude, seriously, of
paying
all the
attention to the
cheesy songs you play, y'all choose that one.
It didn't even seem like the setting was in the 80s or anything. It just seemed
no,
like
it was
present
not.
day, so
It was present day.
it
was present day setting.
Oh, music.
Yeah.
It kind of put me off of the scene.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, dude.
Confusing.
Exactly.
But I will say, whether I cared for it or not, the one thing that kept me intrigued throughout the entire thing was Willem Dafoe. He did fantastic.
Okay. So that's why the best thing out of this whole adaptation, out of the Netflix film, was Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
Like, if we had to put a stamp of approval, like, this is what saved your movie, or this is what could have saved your movie if there was more of him, it would have been.
Even though his face, like the actual character Rick, wasn't shown all that much.
Yeah.
It was either like just like one of those out of the corner of your eyes, or like you see the back of his body, or you see him kind of blurry in the shadows. There's only a few shots where he actually shows his face, which looked pretty good. The CGI wasn't too terrible. But you know, just his voice alone and the way he portrayed the mannerisms by using just his voice, it was really good.
The way he carried himself as him was like, you felt that he was trying to be.
Yeah.
Like
I will say
evil.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's, like I said, because I haven't seen it.
The thing about it
is actually evil, but that's what he's portrayed in this.
The first one?
Yes, this is. This is the first volume of Death Note. Way to go, babe.
Very good.
And that's why I don't play sports, fellas.
I will say this. Everyone did Ryuk the way the mangas need to do Ryuk.
Right,
but
his name was different?
How is his name different?
His last name was different.
Whose?
Light.
Yeah. Yes.
The American.
He's Light
American.
Yagami, and he's Light Turner.
Yeah, but this is more of an American.
This is an American adaptation. They were based in Seattle, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, yes, that's the Japanese. He's in Japan in the mangas, but he's in America in this Netflix original.
Which I'm okay with that too.
And people are complaining about whitewashing. It's not whitewashing. It's like, it's far from it. It's like we're not taking a Japanese version of Death Note and making it Americanized. We're not taking Light Turner, putting him in Japan, saying, "This is where you're at doing the story." No, we're taking Light Yagami, we're turning him into Light Turner, and we're taking L, making him
African American.
fine, African American. Way to spoil it. But we're turning him African American.
Well, they've probably seen the trailers. I think he pops up in there.
I think, but he has his little hood thing on.
Oh, I don't know.
And
even so, you can always put a
probably
spoiler warning at the beginning of this.
Yeah.
Slight spoilers.
Side sport.
Sorry.
It's alright, it's alright. But yeah, the whitewashing is, people, cut it out. Cut it out. Stop being upset about that. There's no reason to be upset about this.
I don't know if that's how L's story was supposed to be, the way that they portrayed it in here, as to how, like, I don't want to say, I can't say anything because it will throw a lot of spoilers out there for people who don't know. But just the way that his origins are with L, I was kind of like, huh?
I would say
like,
they were trying. Like, the Netflix film was trying.
That's how it's supposed to be, where he's from whatever.
He was trained to become the world's greatest detective.
Yeah.
He was trained, and he's done a lot of cases. I think the Netflix movie touches on that.
Which makes sense as to why I guess he's as good as he is, where he can just automatically know crap.
The thing is, he explains what happens in the books. There's no explanation in the movie. But that's the only difference. Like, and also, he's not as smart as he should be. Neither is L. Neither is Light. That was my also problem with the movie. They were not as smart as they should have been.
I guess I'm trying to read this backwards. Wait.
Yes, you are.
Then you go this way.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah. Okay. So
They showed that he's like this nerdy student helping, I guess, kids in school that didn't want to do their homework. You know, he was helping them out with that or whatever. So that kind of gave him his smart appeal. But like, I can see where you're going with that. Where like he just did things just to do things. He didn't have any kind of thought process into it.
No.
He's just like, oh, this person's bad. Let me just kill him.
Between both the characters, you have one that says, "I'm a hard-working honor student, number one in the country. There's no way I could be suspected of being as evil as everyone thinks Kira is." That's what he says in the manga. Here, he doesn't even say any of that. He gets in trouble. He's smart, but he's not brilliant, and that shows.
It's like you can't just have a smart kid do something like this. They have to have some sort of troubled
past
thing that they're doing.
Where in the mangas, it doesn't take that. It says, nope, Light Yagami doesn't like the way the world is. He's bored, so he's going to change it. And now he has the power to do so. That's one of the chapters. It's called Boredom.
Yeah, that's where I'm reading.
So,
I was trying to figure out how to read this because I'm new to it, so I had to follow the diagram on the back to figure it out.
And that's another thing with this Netflix thing, is that it never really explained as to why the book was even there.
It never...
Like, why even was it dropped?
Or how it just...
It was just there, and Ryuka's just kind of...
Ryuk does explain it. Well, actually, I take that back. Ryuk doesn't explain it.
No, not in the movie.
However, it's strange how the book's origins are explained in this thing versus explained in the book, or explained in the manga. But we're out of time. We could have got. This has gone on for about a couple of close to 30 minutes.
That's not too bad.
Not too bad at all. It's like I said, this is the longest one, longer than our Anime 211 Game On video where we did Batman the Animated Series, and that was the whole uncut version of that.
We should do another one of those.
We should. We have Rick and Morty Total Rick Call, so
That was fun.
that was fun. We may do that one next. We're gonna let Mel read, and maybe Corey watch the anime.
I want to watch the anime.
Well, we're all probably gonna watch the anime. I was gonna play Skylanders, but never mind.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Not tonight. I got...
She's got stuff to do. So,
I got shows to catch up on.
So, this was the review show. This was a special review show because we did a special series of Death Note. A lot longer than any review show I've done. And I'm enjoying the fact that I was able to talk to these great people, get their opinions on a book that I actually truly love. It's my third favorite book. It's my third favorite book to read.
It's kind of loved. It's kind of.
Yes, it is.
He needs a new set.
Okay, it's my third favorite manga to read. So if you like, I'm gonna actually leave in the comments my top 2 mangas that I love reading. That's above Death Note. I bet these 2 could probably guess.
Shaman King.
That's 4th.
Case Closed.
Case Closed is number 1.
Yeah, I was thinking Shaman King though, because you read that one quite a lot.
I read that quite a lot, but it's not my favorite one.
Case Closed, Death Note, Shaman King, Ottoman. Is that?
Yes, actually, that actually bumps down. No, actually, now I think Death Note.
But would that I thought that was something a different type of.
It's a different type. It's a shoujo.
I'm learning.
You're learning. Okay, guys. So this is Mikey, Mel, and Corey.
Not Case Closed. One Piece. Oh, but you don't read.
I don't read One Piece. I watch One Piece.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was trying to think of what your other one was.
She's trying.
What is it?
Lupin.
Dumb Melissa.
Lupin the Third. Okay. Alright. So, this is Anime 211. Take it easy, guys.
Stop, kitty.
Alright, we're just gonna cut it right here. Wave bye to everyone. Bye. Alright. Dial A for anime. Take it easy.
211.